Infinity Pool sees Brandon Cronenberg continue his delve into horror and provide yet another entertaining flick. While all his films stay within that genre, this time he delves further into the subgenre of psychological horror with an emphasis on existentialism and personal identity, which isn't exactly new for him to do, as he did that with Possessor. Like all of his works, the concept of the film is a wonderful vehicle to convey and explore certain narrative ideas. The story we're presented with here sees James and his spouse M venture to a beach vacation in the fictional island of La Tolca. The whole affair quickly spirals once James accidentally runs over a local. While at first this seems like he'll end up in prison, we soon come to find out that in this country one's wealth can be used to make a clone which would then be punished for your crimes. The main character of the film is James, a struggling writer who's married to a publishing heiress. His inability to succeed as a writer, combined with his wife's complete financial control of their relationship, has left him feeling emasculated and completely powerless, which is why he so easily falls into the world of hedonism when Gabby communicates that she's a fan of his and introduces him to a way to do whatever he wants with no consequences. The film's central concept explores in a hyperbolic manner the very real way those with immense wealth can seemingly use said wealth to utterly avoid the consequences of their actions, especially in underdeveloped countries, where they can bribe local officials and indulge in every fantasy of theirs whilst using everyone as their personal playthings. The film sees James become more and more detached from the atrocious things he does, as his actions do not affect his life in the slightest, so they are in a sense meaningless to him. He's able to, for the first time in a long time, feel in control, this sense of control coming at the cost of others' well-being. James starts to live moment to moment purely off of pleasure, disregarding the very real-world effect that his actions have on others. He's so consumed in only the pleasure and power he gets from his actions that the only moment where he realizes what he's doing is messed up is when the group he's with tricks him into beating a clone of his. It's only when those actions are being done to him can he realize what he's been doing to others. Truly an affluenza of the highest order. Although his actions in the past resulted in the death of countless clones of him, he's always able to separate himself from the act, as he isn't the one actually putting an end to them, so he has no reason to reflect on his actions. But to see himself be subject to his own cruelty and humiliation was far too much to handle. That, and the realization that he's in way over his head. This leads to him trying to detach himself from the others, only to realize that he was their plaything all along. Him trying to escape leads them to begin to further humiliate him worse and worse, with some moments being excruciating to watch.
One shitty book 6 years ago that nobody read. Bad reviews. You're so vain, James, to actually believe that we read it. It's sort of funny, but really more than anything, it's depressing.
This culminates with him being forced to fight a clone of his who he ends up beating to death, which presents James with a terrifying existential horror, as he never truly saw the creation of this clone, and either of the supposed clones could very much be the original James for all he knows. He is now burdened with the horror that he will truly never know if he is a product of cloning, and that the memories he has may not be his, but of the person he was cloned of. The ending of the film sees James seemingly about to return to a life that may not in fact be his, with the terror that he could have killed the owner of said life, and having to live with that mental anguish, while the people responsible go on to live their normal lives like nothing happened. Which is probably why he chooses to go back to the resort. I mean, how could you return to your regular life after all that you've seen and done? You would truly have to be a monster. To have to pretend for the rest of your existence that this doubt doesn't exist must be horrifying. Not to mention the fear of your impending death, considering you don't know if their cloning is able to create something that is truly able to function for a prolonged period of time. Infinity Pool is Brandon Cronenberg's most well-crafted film yet. It deftly explores the themes of hedonism, affluenza, and existential horror in a meaningful way. It makes the perfect double feature with his father's Cosmopolis. This third work of his makes one further excited for any future projects he may have in store, which hopefully comes with a larger budget and scope. Do you agree with my explanation of Infinity Pool? Comment down below if you do or don't.